Yo, it's Ibetonme. You log into a live service game after work. You look at the seasonal challenges, the battle pass, the weekly reset, the event reward disappears in 6 days, and you haven't even started playing yet, and you're already managing a schedule. And at some point you start asking yourself whether this game is fun, and you start asking whether you have enough time to keep up with it. So I'm cutting the cap, because live service games are starting to feel less like entertainment and more like a second job. And the players who care the most, the ones who's putting in hundreds and sometimes thousands of hours, are usually the one paying the highest price for it. So today we're using Destiny 2, Marathon, and Arc Raiders as evidence. But the real subject isn't any one of those games. It's the system behind them all. A system that wants your time every single week, whether or not it's actually earning it. Now let me be very clear about something. There's nothing wrong with a game wanting players to come back. A great live service game should give you a reason to return. New content, a new weapon, a new season worth showing up for. However, the problem starts when the returning stops being a choice and turns into an obligation. See, the reward expires, the event currency expires, the seasonal progression resets to 0, and suddenly taking 1 week off feels like falling behind everyone else grinding away while you're gone. See, that's the actual difference we need to talk about, because engagement is the game giving you something worth doing with your time. Obligation is the game making you feel afraid of what you'll lose the moment you log off. And once every system in the game is built around preventing you from leaving, the developers stop asking, what can I do to make this player happy? They start asking, what do we put in front of this player to stop them from disappearing? And that shift from earning your time to trapping your time is where the game starts feeling like work. And Destiny 2 is the clearest example here, and I want to be straightforward with you up front. Destiny 2 is now officially in maintenance mode. Bungie isn't building new expansions or full seasons for it anymore. So this isn't me talking about what's coming next for the game, because nothing major is coming up next. However, I'm using Destiny 2 as a warning label for what happens when years of live service systems pile up on top of each other. Because even at its peak, Destiny 2 already showed you the problem. A new or returning player didn't just log into a game. They logged into years of currencies, years of gear tiers, years of seasonal terminology that veteran players understood without even thinking about it. And everyone else just had to figure it out on the fly. See, that's a massive tax on the player's time before they even had fun yet. And on a side note, I recently tried to get into Elden Ring. And as a new player, I was so confused, and it was just so taxing on my time trying to figure everything out, so I just quit after a few hours. And that's the exact same feeling that many new or returning players feel when it comes to Destiny 2. Now, a healthy live service game makes taking a break feel safe. Destiny 2 at its busiest often didn't make that safe. It made you feel like disappearing for a season meant showing up to a completely different game. And now that it is in maintenance mode, that's basically the final report card on that entire system and how it aged. See, you're trolling yourself if you think a game could run that hot for that long without eventually burning out the exact players who cared the most. And this is why Marathon and Arc Raiders matter right now. You have different games, different identities, some different mechanics, but every live service game eventually runs into the same question. Why should players come back after the launch hype wears off? See, a trailer could sell you on the world. It can make the combat look incredible, but it cannot prove the game is going to respect your time 6 months from now. And that proof only comes in from the loop. How often are you actually required to log in? What happens if you take 2-week break? Do the rewards feel earned, or do they just feel constant? Is the progression exciting, or is it just a chore list with a new coat of paint? The launch hype is easy to manufacture, but the long-term trust is brutally hard to build. The first month is where the game gets all the attention and all the benefit of the doubt, but 6 months in is where you see exactly what it has underneath the marketing. And Marathon and Arc Raiders are at that point where they have been severely tested. And they both have had major problems with player retention, especially Marathon. So why do developers keep developing games this way? Because they know more logins mean more chances to sell the season passes. More screen time means more chances to sell cosmetics and an event bundle. A shortcut. But to some players, they just think it's a system that rewards activities. Full stop. You guys gotta really pay attention to what's going on. Now, that doesn't mean every studio is sitting in the room trying to ruin your evening on purpose. It means the incentive is pointing at the engagement metrics on a dashboard, not necessarily whether you're actually having a good time. Now, one limited time event can be genuinely exciting, but 5 overlapping events, each with its own reset timer, its own currency, its own inspiring rewards. See, that's not excitement anymore. That's homework with a countdown clock attached to it. And Arc Raiders Expedition and Trials have really been burning players out. Many feel like it's just a routine grind rather than high stakes exploration. And it's just rigged schedules that conflict with free time, and you basically just driving players toward burnout or heavy PvP reliance. And those individual systems usually aren't the problem by themselves, but it's the pile up. One obligation becomes 3. 3 becomes 7, and eventually you're not choosing what to play tonight. The game's calendar is choosing it for you. Now, FOMO isn't actually evil. A limited event can create a genuinely fun sense of urgency. But the problem is when fear becomes the main reason you're logging in, instead of the game just being worth your time on its own. So here's the actual standard I'd hold any live service game to. They need to respect players' time who take breaks. Don't punish 2 weeks off like it's a crime. Make progression feel meaningful instead of burying it into a 10 overlapping checklist. Also, stop making every single reward feel disposable the moment you earn it. And keep monetization clear instead of hidden behind rotation bundles. And deliver content that's actually worth coming back to, not just another timer wearing a new name. Best live service games don't threaten you until returning. They earn the next hour. Honestly, one good session at a time. Here's the reality check. Live service games aren't bad because they want to keep you playing. They're bad when they confuse constant obligation with long-term value. If a game needs to make you feel guilty for taking a week off, see, that's not player loyalty. That's a retention system committing war crimes against your time freedom. Destiny 2 already showed you the ending. It ran the race, and the maintenance mode is the finish line. Marathon and Arc Raiders are still writing theirs, and how they treat your time over the next year is going to decide which category they land in. And many of us have dedicated our free time to these live service type games. So we have to be very careful to make sure that it's not wasting our time versus valuing our time. Drop me a comment down below. Which live service game respects your time the most? And which one treats you like an unpaid employee working the night shift? And if this video informed you or entertained you, I would definitely appreciate a like. And also, if you're new to the channel, hey, go ahead and sub. It matters more than you think. And again, I am Ibetonme, and you should too. And I'm out. And if you do want to see more live service reality checks, I would suggest you watch this playlist next. Also, don't forget to like and sub. You guys have a great day. Peace.